Hello everybody, this is Ronald Kanijberg for Interdops, and today I would like to show you a very cool feature in DWC which can be used to transport business builder objects from one tenant to the other. Up to now there was no way of working to transport items from a business builder perspective, but today there is. It's actually done by an API, by an export and an import API. Today I'm going to show you briefly in our Interdops tenant how that would look. Please note the data builder has its own way of transporting. There is actually a transport mechanism there, so you just basically do an export and an import. But for business builder objects you would have to use this API. Please note that this API is not fully documented by SAP. That also means that using it is on your own risk, but after transporting quite a few objects, it's pretty safe. So this is our demo environment, our Interdops environment. So what I did is I just created some business builder objects here. Very simple model. So I have a couple of dimensions: customer, general ledger account, and products. And I have basically effect table here, an analytical data set. So this analytical data set has one measure, has amount, and it has a couple of dimensions attached to it. Fairly simple. So what I also done is I've created a consumption model on top of that and actually connected those models again. There we are. So basically this is the consumption model and the perspectives on top of it. Fairly simple. Now, of course, this is a very simple example, but if you would have hundreds of measures in your model or a multitude of dimensions, recreating everything by hand is pretty terrible. So this is really a huge step forward by being able to create this or use this API. So we can do a quick data preview, but believe me, it's an object and it has some values in it. So how do I actually transport this object? It's fairly simple. So you start off in your development environment from which you want to transport the objects, and you fill in the URL of your DWC environment, which is this part. Then you actually put in your space. So in this case it's called SAP content, and then I would list my semantic model. So there are actually two ways of doing that. I could just say, okay, semantic model, name it, export dependencies true. That means that it will export everything. So facts, analytical data sets, dimensions, you basically name it. So it will all be there. And you can also do business entities. You can also do multiple models just by putting a comma here and then filling in, let's say, the other model you want to transport across. There's one important part, and that is that you actually have to put in a cookie. So how do you get that cookie? You fill in the word cookie, obviously. Then you go back to your environment. Oh, this is a beautiful data preview. Then you would go into the Chrome development window. You would press refresh, and what it would do is it would actually refresh the page, obviously, but also give you a cookie in one of the network names. So it doesn't really matter which one you take, because almost all of them have that cookie you need. I normally do something called recent files because I can remember that, but it doesn't really matter. So take one, get into it, look which file has a copy or has a cookie. And there it is, for instance. So you right mouse click, copy value, you go into Postman and you put that into your cookie. And then you're all set. So again, get command, full URL, the space and the name of the model. That's it. And you press send, and then it will actually do is it will make the call and also get all the objects and gather them in a JSON request. So the JSON request is on the bottom here. So all my objects are here. So what I can do is I can just copy it. And then I go to my target environment. So for this demo, I just use the same environment I'm currently running because I don't have multiple tenants. But if in case you would have that, it's simply filling in the body with the output from the previous get. You put in the put, you put in your target environment, internal services, import data, that's important, space again, and then you can put in these parameters. So repo sync, sometimes you have this button on the top of the business builder saying sync. This is actually what that is doing. Input to root, input to root. In my case, I just put it to false. Set space to target, false, and continue an error. And that's basically it. Again, you put in your cookie from your target environment, so you do exactly the same thing. For instance, you go to your quality environment, you refresh your page, you get the cookie, you copy it in. So you get all the parameters now. I will just keep that as is because that works. And press the button, and then actually we should have a successful message. And all your objects will then be imported into the target environment. So let's wait a while. It takes some time. Doesn't take too long. It should be there in a minute or so. Right, so it's all successful. Is what it's mentioning here on the bottom, which is good. I could actually also check that. So if I would go into my model, so let's click this away. It's 1407. Yeah, and as you can see, all these objects have been imported. Yeah, just now. So it actually works. Yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching and listening, and until next time.